Hello everyone, thank you for joining us. I'm Gitalis, and today I have a very special guest, Jozef Krop. He's been considered a leader in complementary and environmental medicine for over 20 years and has over 30 years of experience working with individuals with complex health issues and restoring their well-being. He is now retired from the practice of medicine and no longer holds a medical license and is working under his homeopathic license. A leader in advocating for patients with multiple chemical sensitivities, his former medical practice was used by the Ontario government to begin the process of establishing guidelines for dealing with environmental causes of illness. He had a leading role in launching the Quinter Bill in Ontario, which enshrined patients' freedom of choice in the Medicine Act of Ontario in 2000. He is the author of the book Healing the Planet, One Patient at a Time, a primer in environmental medicine, which is a user-friendly guide in protecting human health in a polluted world. And it's definitely one of the most referenced books of mine on my bookshelf. I'd like to welcome Jozef Krop. Hi, Joseph.
Well, hi, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Very good. You started very well.
Okay. All right, so you have quite a bit of experience both in the medical field and the natural field. You began practicing as a medical doctor and then you transitioned to complementary and environmental medicine. Can you give the listeners a brief overview of why you made this transition?
Yeah, the transition wasn't, I would say transition was very easy. Going out of the medicine was not easy. And I think they will be interested why I decided to be a doctor in the first place. And it happened because at 14, I had tuberculosis. And that I was basically staying 3/4 of the year at home, being treated, and 1/4 of the year I was in sanatorium, and that was just the type how they treat tuberculosis together with the drugs. It was interesting that when after the first visit to the doctor, and the doctor said, you have to gain at least 10 kilo. And I didn't really know what it is, and I got 2 medication for tuberculosis, and my role was to eat well, and I had to eat every day 1 egg and chicken broth and chicken meat. And really, I started to gain weight. And when I come and being close over 10 kilo overweight, before that I was very fit, very fit. I was loving soccer. We played soccer for 5 hours non-stop because we didn't have watches at that time. So we who scored first 4 goals. So
right.
Then it was lasting forever.
Yeah.
So, okay. Nevertheless, okay, I gain weight, and first thing when she saw me, I said, okay, you're going to live. Now, I didn't know anything what it all meant, but I survived tuberculosis, and then I decided to be a doctor because I was surrounded by them for a whole year, and I really was very truthfully thankful to them that I think they saved my life. A lot of people still at that time had been dying of tuberculosis, even though that already we had 3 major medications for it at that time. So I was working hard. I got into medicine. I finished it. I did the internship. I did first 4 years of the pediatrics. I was pediatrician of the first degree specialist. Another degree will take me another 5 years. In the meantime, soon after getting my specialty in pediatrics, I emigrated to Canada. And I had to. It took me 3 years to become a doctor again in Canada, just to pass the exams, do the internship. I also did 2 years of residency, one in Sick Children's Hospital and another one in Children's Hospital in Winnipeg. And then when they told me that I couldn't get the exams yet and asked me to do another 2 years, I guess my family started to grow. I had second child. I said, okay, forget it. But there was something what happened, and I didn't know. I was very hardcore pediatrician. I know nothing about diet, nutrition. I know nothing about the organic food.
Right.
Mind you, I was eating organic food on my parents' farm, where I come from, for my entire life.
Right.
Up to 18 years of age when I left for university, and then I was coming back and forth. So I never thought that organic food. When my wife started to one day in Saskatoon, where I was doing the internship, Saskatoon City Hospital, she said, "Joseph, you will be interested in this." Place, there is the health food store here. And I said, what is the health food store? To me, how can food be not healthy?
Right.
But anyway, and I went there, and to my surprise, I discovered what means organic versus inorganic. I always ate organic chicken and organic broth, as I mentioned, and I love it. That was my cure for tuberculosis. Quote unquote, obviously, but I know how the chicken broth, how the chicken soup looks like. Okay, when she was cooking chicken soup, let's say before we live in Toronto first, and it was kind of looking funny. It was cloudy. There was the fat. It was not clarity in the broth, etc. So I decided to buy that organic chicken from that shop that I visit in Saskatoon City, and then when she cooked it and put, like normally when you cook it, I said, "Oh my God, this is my chicken that I know from my home." Okay. That was my introduction to the health food store, and also in the same thing, in the same hospital, I met Dr. Abraham Hofer, and I don't know if you know who he was.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You know it, and you definitely don't know that I am only possibly the few living doctors who spent with him altogether 3 months, and I was just exposed.
Hello, Dr. Krop?
Yes, hello.
Oh, yeah, I think I lost you there for a sec, but you're back.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
you finished with 3 months? You spent 3
months?
Yes,
I spent with him, 3 months in the pediatric, not in pediatric, in the psychiatric rotation, and then we went to, each of us has to stay 6 weeks in 3 different psychiatrist offices. So I spent 6 weeks in his private office when he was seeing the patients, okay, on basically daily basis. And this was my eye opener. And when I saw that he is prescribing B6 and vitamin C and niacin and zinc and some multivitamins and minerals to his schizophrenic patients, which some of them, they have been on antipsychotic medication. Some of them have not been at all already. I was totally shocked, amazed. He had wonderfully carried his medical history. He typed it. so I could read how the patient was looking before and how the patient was performing, etc. So it was absolutely wonderful to me. And, just continue on my kind of the serendipitous or divine design road in medicine. When then I moved to Winnipeg and spent 1 year a senior residency in Children's Hospital of Winnipeg. And then when I decided to quit the specialization because they didn't let me yet to take the exams, maybe I was too stupid, or they simply said that they cannot assess my ability, what I was doing in Poland, and I was doing pediatrics down there for 4 years. So anyway, I decided to quit. My wife was pregnant with the second child. I said, listen, go home and ask your father to somehow prepare me. I will start GP, general practice. And she met on the train going to Toronto from Winnipeg, a wonderful woman, Mrs. Edith May, who was the head of the Orthomolecular Psychiatric Association here of Toronto. And when she mentioned that I was working with Dr. Hofer, when my wife mentioned to Edith May, they said, oh my goodness, okay, I'm going to make him busy right away. He is going to be, you don't need to worry, his practice will start right away, etc. So it really was, I come back, I started general practice, and within basically half a year, I already was booking patients like in the 1 month after or 2 months after. That's how busy I was. And basically, at the beginning, I saw nothing else than schizophrenics and some kind of the chronic conditions. Not everybody that I did see during this first half year was schizophrenic. And I was using Hofer's approach. As the diet, I was using basically hypoglycemic diet. I didn't know anything yet. What I guess later on suddenly learned, because at one point Mrs. May was telling me that there is a doctor in Hamilton who cured her asthma with sublingual drops. Well, don't forget, I was half and half at that time. When I, with my medical thinking, and it was kind of the surprise. I said, well, okay, I could meet him, and I could, see what he's doing, but he wasn't that keen to see me. And over the phone conversation, this doctor was Dr. McLennan, which I later on learned that he was the father of environmental medicine or ecological medicine in Canada and United States. He was an older gentleman when I met him finally, but he asked me how old I am, and when I told him, he said, look, we have annual meeting in San Diego, and this is our American Society for Clinical Ecology. At that time it was in San Diego. And I went there, I met him, and then I met Dr. Randolph, Dr. Doris Rapp, and frankly speaking, that's how, my interest in environmental medicine started. Nutritional medicine was introduced basically by Hofer, but I learned much more in environmental about nutrition in environmental medicine, and about vitamins and minerals and toxins and everything. This was the beginning. Now, one thing that I want to tell you, that when I started to study the book on environmental medicine, which is called Clinical Ecology. The book is still existing. It was audited by Dr. Lawrence Dickey. I started to read, and first 40 pages when I read it, I said, my God, this is impossible. I realized that I will have to go 180 degree in the different direction as I was going so far. I had to turn back completely.
Right.
Completely. I was so scared of it that I put that book on the shelf, and I didn't return to it after about a month. In the meantime, I already, know something because I was getting for this one conference and another conference, and I went also some basic training. I went through it, and my patients, I saw the patients, and in them, I saw all of these things what I learned, and I'm saying, God Almighty, I cannot do it, because if I'm going to do it the way as I'm learning it right now, I will be in opposite view of 100% of my colleagues.
Wow.
But the patients have been coming, and the patients have been showing me through their symptoms that this is the way to go. So one day I said, okay, the hell with it. And I started to read the book, and I finished it. It took me, I'm a slow reader, I mean, it's from my accent, I'm Polish, my
yeah.
Native tongue is Polish, So it was slow, but I did finish it and never returned back. And this is, frankly speaking, how I got into the complementary practice and environmental medicine. Today I am somewhere at 29 years of practicing environmental medicine. And obviously, this type of the practice didn't make me friends, and my wife's brother is a doctor, and I was so enthusiastically overwhelmed with the things I saw. I had a vision that, frankly speaking, the entire world has to take environmental or ecological approach, because I did see kind of the disaster coming to the to humanity, and and other species, etc. And basically, whenever was the opportunity, whenever we sat at the dinner table, or at Christmas or Easter, I was always talking about environmental medicine. And my brother-in-law at one time told my father-in-law, said, look, listen, I'm going to come for Christmas, okay, to celebrate with you, under one circumstances, that Joseph is not going to be talking about ecology. Well, anyway, there was my first kind of the negativity encounter, and he never have been interested in these matters, and obviously, then I had a lot of troubles, and we practice, and I practice medicine, frankly speaking, opposite to what my colleagues have been practicing, or what I was practicing at the beginning, and I was on the route together with them. In my number of years, I mean, there was 5 years in Poland, there was another 3 years here, and then another 3 years was on me, just learning these things, etc. But I do not regret it, but I am very disappointed with the North American system, with the healthcare system, which introduce basically policing system. And what I know more about it right now, once the drugs become the commodity on the stock market, the medicine really went down, and it's going down, and it's drowning. And I'm not so sure if there is any salvage from it, and I see the danger that it could be a problem. We'll discuss these things in the other questions that you have for me. But that's basically where I am. I paid dearly for my experience, not only with money, but with the emotional things and the professional things. But I am very glad that I make the decision to give up the license, because right now all the colleagues I know who have been practiced this medicine or complementary medicine, they are investigated at the present time. Some of them are in courts.
Wow.
And I predict that if that's going to go as it's going, in next 3 years there will be no complementary doctors.
Wow.
That's my predictions, but we will talk more about it. So that's more or less, how I become crazy.
Wow, that's quite the story, Joseph. So, I mean, I believe that, the direction that our healthcare system is going, that we do need a radical change, and that the future really depends on a collaboration between the natural side of things, the integrative complementary side, and the medical side, because we both have such amazing things to offer. And I mean, the medical system offers some fantastic therapies and diagnostics, and the alternative really, works on prevention and even treatment, sometimes using natural remedies. So do you see that there's a place for this in the future, and what it would look like?
Well, I tell you something. I cannot agree more. There is only one thing. It's not going to take place for a long time, because the regular medicine and the doctors are also victims of the system. The system is based on the approach that if you're sick, nobody in the regular medicine is interested to find the cause, except doctors who are practicing trauma. If you got 2x4 on your head and you have split head or bones or whatever, or injury, you are in a car accident, etc., they know the cause, okay? They repair it. And I want to mention, and I have to really still congratulate, and I'm still amazed how wonderful this medicine is. This is the acute medicine. This is the emergency medicine, which I think possibly is not, there is no better medicine, what I know, and obviously I don't know everything. But as far as it's coming to the chronic diseases, the system as it is set at the present time is interested only in one thing: to keep the patients sick. And they are getting endless treatments, endless therapy with endless new variety of drugs. And there is no interest in the medicine on any other level than acute trauma and acute infections, because even chronic infections are completely disregarded in very many sectors of medicine. There is nobody interested in medicine, in the system where it exists, to cure anybody of anything. The longer the patient is sick, the longer the drugs are prescribed, the better is the stock market. And I am 100% sure what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. It's not my imagination. It's not my, yes, the medicine in 80s, 80, 85, somewhere at that time, pharmaceutical industry enter the stock market. And, I am a complete idiot as far as the economy is concerned, and finances, etc. But sometimes I kind of looking, there are sometimes in the newspaper, there is some some kind of the statistics, and they showing this stock is plummeting and this stock. In the last 2-3 years, when we're living in the economical crisis, okay, the only stock which is good and never went down, it's the medical stock. Okay?
Yeah.
So, I would like to cooperate, and I agree that complementary medicine has tremendous amount of things to offer, and there is much more to health than drugs. Much more to health than drugs. Nevertheless, the present system, I believe the present system sooner or later is going to collapse. And I also believe that God gives me longer life, that I will witness it. Then I will celebrate it. Because this medicine as it exists is totally rotten as far as the chronic disease are concerned. There is no particular interest that regulating of all the practitioners under the RHPA. This is most dangerous things, what is happening to independent professions, like chiropractors, naturopaths, homeopaths, you name them, physiotherapists, etc. Once they are regulated by the government, they're going to follow the orders of the government. Another thing is, through my studies, all the regulations which are right now prepared, and some of the guys already having you, some of them they're going to be introducing, they are all based on College of Physicians and Surgeons rules. So congratulations for all of you who wants to get regulated by the Ontario Ministry of Health. And if you want to maintain integrity, if you want to maintain independence, stay away from the regulations. And there is some hope for it. Yes, you can cooperate. Yes, you can talk. You can have, non governmental cooperations with the physicians, and I think it's absolutely necessary. But note, under the guidance of the College of Physicians of Surgeons of Ontario, where they have the law that there is a mandatory and obligatory rule to report colleagues, to report physician by physicians who are not following the standard of practice. This is the Gestapo tactic, and this is not good to this province. Thank God that this is not in entire Canada, but I bet you that they're looking to do it, across entire Canada. And if people want to be regulated, they really have to know what's waiting for them. Okay, and once the government going to put the pocket in the practitioners' and control also their money, they're going to have complete power over them. Okay, so whoever wants to be covered by OHIP or this or that, and so on, insurance, etc. Yes, you can have the insurance. Okay, but don't forget that in United States and also here, there was the insurance companies which have been reporting the doctors to CPSO. Okay, for investigation. So just, I don't see at the present time any friendly relationship and this kind of the communication, because it is at the present time it is impossible. College of Physicians and Surgeons is investigating the doctors who are working with the naturopaths. One of my colleagues has to give up working with the naturopath, only due to the investigations, because there was the naturopath down there. Okay, naturopath is fine, but she, had to deal with it and still dealing with it, and so on. It doesn't. It's not healthy. It's not going to be healthy relationship if that's going to be under the dictando of the Ministry of Health. Yes, public has to be protected, but not on the cost of the profession, that the profession going to have completely tight hands on this matter. So just repeating and closing this matter, I would like to have cooperation. It is absolutely needed. The complementary section of doctors, the complementary professionals who are taking naturopathy, homeopathy, all the nutritionists and so on, they have tremendous things to add to the society. But, not under the regulations of the government. Because otherwise, they're going to be all forced, one way or the other, to prescribe the stock market drugs. Thank you very much on this issue.
Well said, well said. So
maybe you want to comment on it.
Well, I guess the big question for me is, we're clearly many years away from this merger. Hopefully we both see it in our lifetime, but how can people out there, how can patients, how can the general public best seek out the right advice for their specific health?
Well, look, in my career here in Canada, I did see approximately 20,000 patients. It may look a little hairy and maybe a little unbelievable, but because I practice environmental medicine and preventive medicine, and I discover the causes of the diseases, that's the reason for which I could see so many patients. And I was always educating the patients, etc. The name is the key is in education. We need to educate our patients, and once so far, all my patients, they haven't been happy with the practice of the regular doctors, except for surgery. When it's come to the chronic diseases, etc., they all, at least those ones which I saw, they have been looking for different approach, and I basically cure majority of them. I didn't cure all of them. It is impossible. You always have something that you don't know how to do things, how to solve the problems, or some people have been too sick, and you need appropriate institution to keep those patients in order to help them to come out of the trouble that they have been. But I know that those patients haven't been served properly. The drugs did not work for them. They have been looking for other solutions. And I believe that there is so many other practitioners that, have the same experience what I have. And, this is a matter of education and matter of time. And we have to educate the patient that there is a better way, and patients have to understand what they have to do in order to be healthy. And there is no drug which is going to cure any disease, and you have to, find the cause. And once you find the cause, and so on, in majority of cases, you don't need drugs. And they are so toxic, those drugs, and so on. We are all exposed to them through the water, so on. They get into our water system. We are all exposed, to tranquilizers, antidepressants, anti-anxiety drugs, and you name it. And I'm not particularly sure how cancer drugs are disposed, because they are super dangerous. And I hope that they are disposed properly into the hazardous waste.
Mm-hmm. This is, it sounds like science fiction at times.
It is like science fiction, but mad science fictions, okay? Because there is a friendly science fiction. This is madness.
Yeah.
What we doing, okay? And particularly when we do not allow the other sector in our and our patients openly, freely to see the and use the other medicine, and this is incredible. And keeping, fearful the entire medical profession, just to start to think differently or use different things. This is unseen in country like Canada.
Yeah. Well, a lot to think about there. I have to fully, agree with you. I mean, I think education is definitely the most important factor with my clients, at least, because once people understand the why, the how takes care of itself. They just, they make the changes they need to make once they understand why they have to do it. And I think that's another factor that's missing in the medical community. No one is ever educated on why they're going for a certain procedure, why they're taking a certain drug, how it's working, and how they really need to make the change.
Because the system does not allow them to educate them. Okay, and this is not simply written, oh, you're not allowed to educate the patient. Oh yes, educate the patient, spend just 1 hour with the patient, and so on, and get for it, let's say 65, even $65, and so on. Okay, now this is and you cannot, and they tell you how many counseling you can have. If you have too many, you're going to be investigated, so on. Okay, you need to spend the time with the patients. You have to educate the patient. Patient has to understand the process of sickness and what is the way of the recovery. Today, patient comes to the doctor, it's going to, spend 15 minutes, maximum 20 minutes of general assessment, okay? Rest visits, you can only talk about one symptom, you get the drug and you go home. What kind of the medicine is it?
Mm-hmm.
This is appalling. People we have to be, on the radio, on the television, with this kind of the news, on the Twitter, on whatever it is down there, that the patients going to understand that the sickness that they all getting it, is in the surrounding environment. Okay, and shrinking resources, and we have to, protect properly our environment in order to be healthy. Because otherwise, okay, there is no survival for us here.
Yeah. Well,
and we can talk about the conspiracy theory, but I will not talk. We can talk privately.
Yeah, well,
when we meet one day.
Well, Joseph, I think you've given us a great picture of the healthcare system. The reason why I do these things is to give people this information, to educate them so they can become their own health advocate. So I'd like to just wrap things up with you. Is there any final things you'd like to say for us?
Well, listen, I guess there is very many points, okay, to make. But if you want to talk to me second time on the issue that we discussed before, that would still take us a good, at least 20 minutes or more. Okay, we basically went through 2 points, right now of your agenda, as we discussed these things before, and so we can stop on that moment. We can go further on. We can return to it. Whatever is your wish.
Joseph, I would love to interview you again in the future and go into this a little deeper. How does that sound?
That's fine. We can go more what people can do, really, what they can do, what is doable for people in, protecting themselves, and how can they achieve it. And this is more important than politics. Nevertheless, it has to be attached to politics, because otherwise they will not understand.
For sure.
How all of these things works, and on the other hand, everything looks so beautiful. Okay, we have all the solutions for health solutions, in the present system. The present system is so deeply corrupt and so deeply flawed that, frankly speaking, there is no solution for health in the system as it exists. But the people have to learn that there are some other ways how to stay healthy. And this is possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And we can talk about it later.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much, Joseph.
You're very welcome.
Where can people find some more information about you and your book and your clinic?
Oh, listen, we do have some website, I think. but there is not that much on that website. We are in the developmental stage as far as the my environmental practice, and I don't know if we have this website somewhere here. This is funny how it works, you know. Oh yeah, there is something, you know. There is ecohealthcenter.ca, www at the beginning.
Okay, great. Okay,
EcoHealth, hold on, it says ecohealthcenter.ca.
Perfect. So if you want to reach Dr. Jozef Krop, ecohealthcenter.ca. He also has some fantastic practitioners working alongside him. And you definitely want to pick up his book, which is Healing the Planet, One Patient at a Time, a fantastic handbook for dealing with environmental toxicity and allergies and various things that might affect your health. And hopefully we can interview you again. So thank you very much, Joseph.
You're very welcome. On the matter of my book, the book is now under the revision. It doesn't mean there is anything wrong with the book, but you know, the book has to be somehow updated and so on. I'm working on it, only that I'm very slow because I'm so busy. I never thought that I'm going to be so busy in my second coming. So.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, well, listen, so we'll talk again.
Definitely.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Nice to talk to you, and nice to talk to all of my friends, whoever is going to be listening to it, okay?
Absolutely.
Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.